Welcome to Distress to Joyful, Bailey's Way. I'm your host, Bailey Raber, here to enlighten you and the rest of the world about one of the most misunderstood mental health disorders out there, bipolar disorder. In each episode, we'll learn more about my personal journey with bipolar 2 disorder, how I've struggled with it, and how I've learned to overcome those struggles. Together, we'll laugh, we'll cry, and most importantly, we'll have fun. You'll leave each episode feeling hopeful and stocked full of useful information on how you can better yourself and the world around you. Hello, friends. Welcome back for another episode. I am so excited. So I've got some really cool things to tell you about before we move into the episode today. So the first one is that, I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but I had said maybe about a year or so ago that I was planning to make some mental health awareness t-shirts to put in my Etsy shop and to wear and to help spread awareness, because obviously this is what I'm doing here. This is my mission. And I'd love if you guys could jump on board in more ways than just, tuning in, which I do appreciate. Don't get me wrong. So I'm so happy to tell you that I finally have gotten around to it, and I have started creating some, and I've got a couple already uploaded into my Etsy shop. So I'm actually wearing one right now. So if you're on YouTube, you can see it says, "It's okay to feel your emotions." But what's even better is on the back side, which I cannot turn around and show you. I'm literally backed into a corner here. On the back side, there's a word search, and there are 15 different emotions hidden within the word search. And I only highlighted, I think maybe 4 or 5 of them. I think 4. I don't remember. I can't see back there. But yeah, so it says emotions at the top, and then it's got a word search. And what's really cool about that is if you're in line at the grocery store or getting your Starbucks or what the hell ever, and somebody's behind you, like, I'm hoping that they'll take notice to it instead of whatever the fuck's happening on their goddamn phone. I hope that they'll take notice to it and they'll start searching for other words, because I know that I need help learning words for emotions. I do not have a very good emotional vocabulary. I'm working on growing my emotional intelligence. I wasn't raised in a household that knew how to do these things, unfortunately. So it's not my parents' fault. It's not their parents' fault. It's just a generational issue that I am now breaking. And part of helping me learn is by doing things like this, by wearing a word search on my back that has a bunch of different emotions in it, making my fiance wear one so I can look for him, that kind of stuff. And so it's just one little way to bring about awareness and to start a conversation. It's okay to feel your emotions. Like, come on, you guys. But also, I've got a couple other ones. My fiance's favorite is, it's small, and it just says, "Mentally, how are you?" on the front. Like, it's pocket sized on the front of the shirt. That's all it says. And he loves this shirt because it is a conversation starter, but not from across the room. Like my shirt I'm wearing right now, the emotions one, is a across the room conversation starter. His is more of like, if you are paying for your Starbucks, the cashier might see it and might ask something about it. Or you know what? Somebody might be talking to you, a friend, somebody at a party, at the grocery store, I don't know, wherever. Where do you guys go besides the grocery store and Starbucks? Please let me know. I feel like we don't even go to Starbucks anymore, but anyways, besides the point, it is a great conversation starter for somebody who is in your little area, somebody who's close enough to read it, and hopefully they're going to respond and tell you how they are. And if they're not doing well, that is a time to really be able to reach out and help somebody. It's also a chance for people to be vulnerable, I guess. That's what I'm kind of getting at. Like, that is a question that you may not ask somebody. You might not think to ask it, but if you're wearing it on your t-shirt and somebody sees it, they're going to be hopefully more curious and more open to having a conversation, especially about mental health and if they need help, that kind of thing too. So I feel like I'm rambling. I'm just really excited. Another one that I made, which I think is so much fun. It says, "Mood always on shuffle." And that one's obviously for bipolar awareness. I actually put hashtag bipolar disorder awareness on it. That one I think is just fun because I feel like I have my moods on shuffle sometimes, and it's not always something I can help. Sometimes it's annoying, but it's just one of those things where if you can bring laughter and humor to something that might not always be a fun thing, it just makes it a little bit easier to cope with and deal with. And I hope that those of you listening who also have bipolar disorder, you also think it's funny. A couple people have favorited it. Wow, that's a weird word. They have hit the favorite button on Etsy, so at least a couple people get it. So yeah, that is in my Etsy shop, Bailey's Way Designs. It is going to be linked in both the episode description and the show notes. So you guys can easily find that. You can also just go to Etsy and type in Bailey's Way Designs, and it's going to pop up for you guys. So yeah, I finally am doing this. I finally have gotten to that point. You guys know that when I say I'm going to do something, I am going to do it. Sometimes it just takes me longer than I had expected. But you know what? That's okay. That is okay. I'm a woman of my word, and sometimes life gets in the way, and we just learn to be agile and move forward. So another thing that I did that's so cool that, again, I have here with me. So if you're on YouTube, like, you'll get to see it. I'm so excited. So let me explain it to you. So I have a Doug the Pug calendar hanging up in my room, or mine and Moni's room. And Doug the Pug, huge fan. We'll talk about pugs here in a minute. So I realized I was having a really hard time remembering whether or not I've taken my medication. I just got put back on it, about a year ago now. And so I have really struggled with remembering to take it every morning. And especially now that I'm also taking a second dose in the evening along with another med. Like, it's hard for me to remember. And there's been days, y'all, where I will literally, I will take the med and then I'll forget within 5 minutes. And then if Moni didn't see me, then neither of us remember if I've taken it or not. So we're at that age. I'm almost 30. We're at that fucking age. And so I know I can't be the only one struggling with this. There's got to be more people out there who are also struggling to remember to take their meds. And sure, there are apps on the phone and all that kind of stuff, and that's great and all. That's great. But I'm a little bit old school. And so what I had done on my Doug the Pug calendar was I drew all these boxes. I drew one on every single day, and I drew 2 when I started taking a second dose of my medication, and I would check off after I took it. Guys, drawing those boxes was so annoying. Drawing, 60 of those every single month. I gave up. So a couple months you'll see boxes and checks here and there, and then that's it. And so what I did, because I'm a problem solver and I love solutions, is I made this beautiful calendar for 2024. So I'm calling it the affirmation calendar because it's got 2 amazing things in it for you, for your friend, for your spouse, for anybody who needs it. So the first thing, I'm calling it affirmation because every single month has a affirmation listed on it. So for January, I am capable of achieving anything I set my mind to. And I was very, very strategic, and I thought things out, and I specifically put affirmations with each month that kind of fit the theme of the month. So obviously everybody is getting new goals for the new year in January, so I can achieve anything I set my mind to. Slides right in perfectly. I think my favorite one, which is super important, is for December. And that is, I choose to focus only on what I can control. Because December is the holidays, and the holidays seem to be a shit show for a lot of people. I know it used to be for me. And so I just felt like that one just spoke to me, and that needed to be for December. So what I did, and if you're on YouTube, you can see, and if you're not on YouTube, don't worry, I will put photos in the show notes. So if you're on YouTube, you can see every single day has the word medication and a checkbox next to it. And I did that specifically because I was tired of making my own checkboxes and forgetting. And so This kind of does a 2-for-1 for me. And again, I hope it can help you guys too. But what it does is it gives me an affirmation. So I'm literally going to read these out loud every single day. I'm going to look at it and I'm going to say it out loud. I'm going to say, I am capable of achieving anything I set my mind to. And then I'm also going to see, oh, did I take my meds today? No, I did not. Let me go do that real fast and check it off. So I'm just so excited. I am so excited. I told a couple friends about it. A lot of people have said that like this is something that they think is good and that they would use themselves. And so again, this is in my Etsy shop. So if you guys are interested, right now I currently have the calendar is just for if you take meds once a day. So like my fiance, for example, he doesn't take any daily medications, but he's trying to take his vitamins and supplements again. And so he's actually going to use this calendar here because it's got one checkbox per day, and he's going to use that as a way to remind himself to take his vitamins. And when he does take them, he will check it off. So that way he can kind of keep track and watch his progress and make sure he's actually doing this. It's a great reminder for that. So I'm going to make an additional version of this calendar where it's going to have 2 check boxes for the medication. And so this calendar is going to have a different color on the cover. I'm going to make sure that it's listed on both of them separately. But make sure, guys, if you do come back and you want that one later on when it's up, I'll let you guys know. Just make sure that you read the descriptions and that you're picking the correct one, okay? But yeah, I am so pumped. I also obviously included all of the holidays. I included some really fun stuff too, like World Bipolar Day is on March 30th. So that is listed on the calendar for you guys. Same with International Women's Day. And let's see, Global Love Day. And what else? Of course, I go to August. That has nothing. And World Mental Health Day. Like random stuff like this random national days that are worth recognizing. I've thrown those in there too. So yeah, I'm super pumped. Again, I hope this is something that you guys will use and love and enjoy. And if not, well, then at least I have it for me. Oh, and speaking of Doug the Pug, okay, I mentioned him a few minutes ago. So I have wanted a pug my entire life. I've been obsessed with pugs. I've always wanted one myself. And guess what, guys? I have a pug now. I do. Moni and I went and picked him up this past week. So he's been with us a little over a week now. And oh my God, I just love him so much. He's a puppy. We got him from the most amazing breeder up in Waco. She actually, she breeds pugs and German shepherds, and my cousin Rainey and Joey, they got their German shepherd from her. And when we heard she did pugs, we're like, sign us up. So his name is Duke. He is so adorable. He has his own Instagram, Pugtastic Duke. You guys can go follow if you want. He is just bringing so much joy and love into our lives. And he is my emotional support animal, which I have been needing for a very long time. And he is, it's just a dream come true. I'm so glad that Moni was on board with that with me, and that we finally did it. We finally have a pug, and both of us, our hearts are just so full. So speaking of Duke, our sleep schedule has been totally off because of him. And oh my God, y'all, I am going to bed late. I am getting woken up in the middle of the night to take him out potty. And then I am missing my morning workouts because of it. So our whole schedule just thrown off. And because of this, I've had low energy and I've had a really hard time getting going in the morning. But I've started drinking Magic Mind, and it's just become my best friend during this new life transition of ours. So drinking Magic Mind each morning just gives me the mental energy and focus that I'm not getting from my morning workouts right now. So Magic Mind is a little energy shot. Like, it comes in a tiny little container. I don't take any shots anymore of alcohol, but I do take Magic Mind shots. These are the only shots I'm doing these days. And another thing that I really love about them, besides them having all natural ingredients, is that it actually has ashwagandha in it, which is an adaptogen that reduces stress and anxiety. So it's kind of giving me an extra boost in some areas that I also need some more help. God knows. So if you're like me and you're adjusting to a new routine or you just need some extra energy in the mornings, I totally recommend that you try out Magic Mind. So you can get it at magicmind.com/Bailey's Way. And if you use code Bailey's Way 20, you can get up to 56% off your first subscription or 20% off a first-time purchase. So again, that's Bailey's Way 20 is the code, and it's for 56% off. It also works if you're already a subscriber. You can just save on your next subscription payment. So I totally stand behind it because it works, you guys. It works. I have focus and I can get through my day, and I'm not struggling to feel awake or alive before noon. Because if I don't have my workout, I'm usually just so groggy, and this is kind of taking the place right now. It's been super great. So I know that it can help anybody else who has been struggling with feeling awake in the morning or focusing before lunch. So again, it's magicmind.com/Bailey's Way and use discount code Bailey's Way 20 for up to 56% off your subscription. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into today's episode, which is You Caught Me, I Lied. So it's a really interesting title, isn't it? Now, first of all, I want to stop and say, I know I said that we were going to talk about bipolar rage, and we will next episode, because I decided I needed to squeeze this one in, as this is something that has been on my heart for a very long time, and I just haven't been able to figure out what I wanted to say. And also, I was reminded of it because I recently went back to the psychiatrist, and that's kind of giving things away. So let's start from the beginning. So I went to the psychiatrist for the very first time when I was 16. If you guys have tuned into season 1, episode 3, I believe, the diagnosis, which I will link in the show notes for today, you will hear me talk all about my first experience at the psychiatrist, getting diagnosed with bipolar 2, and all of those things. But what we haven't discussed are my follow-up visits to the psychiatrist and the visits that I've been doing for, 14 years now. I'm about to be 30, so 14 years now. And how they haven't always gone in a productive or healthy way. And what I mean by that is I haven't always told the truth in these appointments. Allow me to elaborate. So what's very interesting is, how many months ago now? Maybe it was about a year ago. I was connected with somebody who also has bipolar disorder. And she was struggling at the time, and she was having a really hard time. And I was connected with her, and they were like, hey, I'm hoping you can help. Like, she's really struggling. She just needs someone to talk to. And I'm like, okay, great. I can talk for hours. I have had bipolar disorder for a long ass time. I get it. Let's go. And she was so sweet, and she was just really, really struggling in a lot of ways that I have struggled in the past with my bipolar disorder. Then we started talking about medications and going to the psychiatrist and things like that. And she told me something that I had also done, but I did not realize that other people did it too. Hence why it's very important that I bring this up to you guys, because I'm sitting here like, oh shit, I was doing this. She does this. Like, this is not a good thing to do. Yet, I'm sure we're not the only two people doing it. So let's dive in to You Caught Me, I Lied. That's exactly what she had told me that she was doing, is that she was lying to her psychiatrist. And I sat there No judgment, obviously. And I listened to her tell me stories of things that just sounded so familiar. She was saying that she would go in for her visit and they would ask her how everything was, and she would say everything's fine. And they're like, are you sleeping okay? And she would say yes. Or are your moods doing okay? Yeah, I guess so. And those were just kind of the answers to the questions that were being presented. Very generic questions, very, everything's fine, everything's good, blah, blah, blah. And then they just rewrite your prescription and they send you on your way. So here's the danger of that, you guys, is that she told me that when she was at these visits that she was just saying, yes, everything's good. Yes, I'm feeling okay. Yes, yes, yes. But that's not actually how she felt. She wasn't feeling better. She didn't feel like things were helping her. She felt horrible. So why was she saying this? Why was she saying that? And you know what? It got me thinking, holy shit, I've sat there and done that too. I was thinking about my very first psychiatrist, Dr. Patel, and how many times I sat in his office when I was on Abilify and told him, yeah, everything's good. Yeah, things are going great. Yeah, I feel good. Even though I was spending, my weekends crying in bed, I couldn't get up, or I couldn't sleep because of hypomania, or I was struggling with work or schoolwork because I was just too hypomanic or too depressed or a combination of the two. Like I was struggling, but I kept telling him I was fine. The meds are great, blah, blah, blah. Guys, if they're not helping you, you need to speak out. You need to speak out. But here's the thing. This is what this girl told me where I completely related also. Is she said that she felt bad and that she didn't want to trouble them and that she wasn't sure how she was supposed to feel. And so she was just saying these things because she felt like that's what she was supposed to say. So myself, just like her, we have both sat there and lied to our psychiatrist because we felt like that's what we were supposed to say. And you know what's really, really sad, you guys? You know what's really sad is that I didn't even recognize that I was doing that for so long until I went back to the psychiatrist about a year ago and I was just fucking at my wit's ends with life and things were just a fucking shit show and I needed to get back on meds. That is when I realized something is not working. Something needs to change. I need something else. Actually, let me back it up a bit. Because I did finally tell a different psychiatrist in 2016, I think, maybe 2017. I think it was maybe 2017 that the meds I was on were not working anymore. And that's because I switched psychiatrist. And when I switched psychiatrist, he started asking me questions that prompted me to actually think, and I answered better. Wow. Okay. Regardless, it took me switching psychiatrists to then figure out something's not working. Y'all, I was on Abilify. I was on that medication for how many years? 7 or 8 years. And I don't think it ever did anything good for me. I don't remember it helping me the way that my current meds are helping me. And that's the thing with meds, y'all. I had a whole episode about this that I will link in today's show notes, that you have to try out a bunch of them before you find the right one. Usually, sometimes you and a psychiatrist have this magical moment and you pick one med and poof, it works and everything is so great. But as far as I know, that's rare as fuck. Like, that's so rare. But that can happen. But if that hasn't happened, if you've tried meds and you feel like they're not working for you, when you go back to your psychiatrist and they ask you, is everything good with these meds? I want you to look at them and say, no, it is not. If it is not, if it is good, say it's good. But if it's not good, tell them that. Tell them that. You are doing nobody any favors by saying, yes, everything is good, when the reality is it is not good. Think about it like this. Let's put things into a different kind of perspective. Let's say that you broke your foot. You broke your foot and the doctor gave you some pain meds and you're taking them and they're not working. They're not helping. You still feel pain in your foot. So you go back to the doctor and the doctor's like, how are those pain meds working for you? And you look at him and you say, dude, these fucking suck. My pain is there. I feel it. I need something different. Right? I mean, any of us would do that. Any of us would easily do that. If you are feeling pain physically in your body and you are given something to help that go away and it's not working, I guarantee you would immediately speak up when given the opportunity to say, no, I need something better. So why are we not doing that with our mental health, you guys? Why are we not doing that? I'm guilty of it too. So don't get me wrong. I'm not just tough loving on you. I'm doing it to myself too. Why are we as a whole not doing this? Why are we lying? Why are we lying? Why? So I do think a lot of us are conditioned. We are conditioned to try to not make a fuss, to not make other people uncomfortable, to not make a big deal out of things about ourselves. But y'all, the psychiatrist's office is the place to throw that shit on the floor and say, you know what? I matter. My mental health matters. My heart matters. I matter. And I need to feel better. And what I'm doing right now isn't making me feel better. So let me talk to this person in front of me and let's sort this out. Boom. It's as easy as that. But you know what's so crazy though is that, like I said, I didn't even realize that this is something that more people are doing than just me. It wasn't just me lying to my psychiatrist. I literally felt so seen in that moment, you guys. I felt so seen. I was like, holy shit, we're here talking with this girl about her problems and how I can help her. And she just helped me too. She just helped me realize I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who's doing this. But then it clicked, like, how many of you guys listening have done that too? We need to stop. We need to take care of ourselves. Because here's the thing, you guys. I can't take care of my fiance or my little puggy down here, which he's sleeping in his little crate. I can't take care of them if I can't take care of myself first. And taking care of myself first starts with getting on the right medication. Because I have bipolar 2 disorder, y'all. I have bipolar 2 and I need medication. So I need something that's actually going to work. And thankfully, I have, I found yet another psychiatrist. Life happens, things shift around. And this one, she has been really, really great with monitoring the new medication she put me on, the dosages, all of those things. And guys, if your psychiatrist isn't doing that for you, if they're not asking you probing questions, if you don't feel like they're actually looking out for you, if you tell them that the medication that you are on isn't working and that you want to try something else and they say no, it's time to find a new psychiatrist. Guys, I'm serious. You need to shop for doctors like you would shop for a new car. Sometimes you got to test drive a few and figure it out. And I've had to do that. I have struggled. I had one psychiatrist when I was growing up, and that I feel like didn't do anything except get me this diagnosis. The next psychiatrist after that was horrible. And then I bounced around to another one who was absolutely amazing, but he is on a way different side of town. His schedule doesn't work with mine. So unfortunately, I can't be his patient anymore. So now I have yet another one who is absolutely amazing. But guys, it's trial and error. Just like our meds being trial and error, sometimes our doctors are sometimes our doctors are trial and error too. And sometimes personalities don't work. Sometimes it's just not the right fit. So guys, all of this is to say that I strongly encourage you to speak your truth. most specifically when you are at the psychiatrist office. And if you feel like your psychiatrist isn't helping you the way that you need, I encourage you to find one that will. Find somebody who will listen to you. Find somebody who will care, because there are plenty of doctors who don't care, and there are plenty of doctors who do. So sometimes it just takes a little searching around to find the one that works for you, the one who will listen to you, and the one who truly wants to help you. It's made a difference in my life. I know that it can make a difference in your life too. Win of the week. Win of the week. Okay, so win of the week is a way for us to spread some positivity and share a good thing that happened in life recently, whether it be that you received a job offer to the company of your dreams, or that you finally gained enough energy to shower for the first time in 3 days. No win is too small to celebrate here on Distressed to Joyful Bailey's Way. And this is also an opportunity for you to receive a shout out if you want. And you guys know I love giving shout outs, and I haven't given any this year. Crickets, sipping some tea. So I'm going to share a win for this week, and my win is that, so you guys know I don't have a relationship with my parents, and that's unfortunately how it is. And I'm getting married in India in December. And so with that, you have to have parents to kind of give away the bride. That's a tradition. And I'm going to cry. I knew I was going to cry. So we asked Monish's uncle. He's got an uncle named, we call him Raju Kaka. Kaka means uncle. It means dad's brother in Hindi. So we asked Raju Kaka and his wife if they would be my parents for the wedding ceremony, because they don't have kids of their own. And I really have a connection with Raju Kaka in a way. If you're listening right now, thank you. He listens to the podcast. At least he told me that at one point. And he's just very open-minded. And he gave me a book about Gandhi, and I'm just really, really grateful, because we asked him if he would be my parent, if they would be my parents for me, and they are overjoyed to do that. And sorry, it just feels really, really great to know that even though the parents that raised me aren't able to, that they're just not what I need them to be for me, that they just can't do that for me. That there are other people out there who are willing to do that for me, who are willing to step in and to play these roles, like Monish's parents. I call them mom and dad for a reason. It's because they have stepped in and they love me like their own. And guys, if any of you struggle with the relationship with your parents, just know that there are other adults out there who will be happy to be pseudo parents for you. Who are just there to love you. And I have so many of those people in my life, and I'm just so, so grateful. So this is my win for the week. I'm going to stop, because otherwise I'm going to keep crying. And y'all on YouTube have to see this. Thankfully, those of you on, Apple Podcasts, y'all don't have to see this mess. My voice probably also sounds crazy now because my nose is all stuffed. Okay, well, if you have a win that you want to share with me, you can email it on over to whatisheybellsdoing@gmail.com. You can also just send me a DM on Instagram at distressedtojoyful_Bailey's Way, and I will shout you out, and I'll cry for you on the next podcast episode. All right, so next time we are going to talk about bipolar rage. I promise you that is going to come through. We will do it. But thank you for being here and for tuning into the show. Be sure to follow on Facebook and Instagram at distressedtojoyful_Bailey's Way. And head on over to whatisheybellsdoing.com to check out the show notes for this episode. If you enjoy this podcast, please, please, please help spread the word by leaving a rating or writing a review, especially on Apple Podcasts, because I want to hear from you guys. I really do. Also, be sure to check out the show notes from today's episode to find all of the links mentioned throughout this episode. Wow, that was redundant. And if you didn't already know this, you could watch this episode for free on YouTube and you can see me cry. Lastly, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all of the new episode releases. But until next time, take it easy, stay grateful, and be joyful. Bye!